I can go home and do whatever the I want, which is cool and true, but I do miss coming home to someone. It'd be a lie to say that I didn't. What are we doing for dinner? What are we doing? Like, you know, you're coming home to a family. And now I'm not. Now I'm coming home to my apartment. And just remembering, I guess, that it was nice to come home to a family. Lovey-dovey with each other. I'm over here thinking like something's wrong with me. Stop it! Now I feel like personally attacked by your fucking love in front of me. But it's just a reminder of, I want that. He's not a bad guy at all. At all. He was not the guy for me anymore after 24 years. Could be a great person and not be my husband anymore. Both things can be true.
Welcome back, family. And welcome back to the second part of the story of this modern woman who decided to leave a 24-year-old marriage just to get pumped and dumped by Chad and Tyrone. We saw how much she cried in the first part after instantly regretting leaving her husband. Now we will see how miserable and jealous she gets, especially when she sees other couples happy. Check it out.
I was just out at a comedy club performance. One of my good friends is a stand-up comic, and he organizes shows out in Connecticut. They're outstanding, actually, in Fairfield, Connecticut, if you're in the area. But so I'm divorced, and I've been on my own for 2 years, and I was going to stay home tonight, and he was like, no, come out, go out. And it was fun. It was hilarious. They were amazing. The people were so talented. But in front of me, there was a man and a woman. The guy has his arm around her chair, and she's like leaning into him, and they're very like lovey-dovey with one another. And, you know, the comedian would make a joke and they'd laugh, and I'd see her look at him, and he'd lean into her, and he was like, wow, that's like really sweet and romantic how in tune they were with each other. And it's like they were in their own little bubble. It was very sweet, very cute. And like towards the end, I was like, enough already with the romantic gazing into each other's eyes. Like after a while, I was like, stop it. Now I feel like personally attacked by your fucking love in front of me. But now that I think about it, why am I yelling? Calm down. But there were enough jokes. There were like 4 different comics that were up there making jokes about who's divorced, and they raised their hands. And there was one point where he spoke and he was like, oh, her kids are in Little League, and enough jokes that was obviously they don't have the same kids. That's probably why they were so fucking romantic and happy and gazing into each other's eyes. I never had that with my husband. Like we weren't like lovey-dovey with each other. I'm over here thinking like something's wrong with me, and the reality is like they're probably newer into their relationship. So maybe I will have that at some point with someone. I'm rambling. I am very happy for that couple, and I hope this is their great love, because it seemed like both of them were divorced, and I hope that this is now their part 2. But it's just a reminder of I want that. I also had a great time, and I just laughed for 2 hours straight. It's not all bad.
You can clearly see how angry and mad this woman really is. She cannot stand seeing a happy couple. Even though she tried to clean her act at the end by saying that she is happy for seeing a happy couple, we all know that deep down, she wishes that it was her. That is what happens when you decide to destroy your own marriage, thinking that the grass was going to be greener on the other side. The reality is that she misses her family, and she will admit it in this next clip.
It's the first week that I am commuting into the city as an apartment dweller, not as a homeowner, not as a married woman, not as a woman with a kid at home. I lived in the city for a long time, but when I got married a million years ago, we moved out to the suburbs right outside of New York City and bought a house, and I lived in that house for 22 years. I got divorced and I moved out, and I've been living in an apartment. So I've been working remotely, and now the company that I work for has opened up a New York City office, and I'm going in 2 to 3 days a week. So this is only day 3, but I noticed, I'm like, something feels really different, and I realized like this is the only time in my life where I've commuted from the city back into Westchester and not come home to a house, and not come home to a husband. I don't know how I feel yet. So I can go home and do whatever the fuck I want, which is cool and true, but I do miss coming home to someone. It'd be a lie to say that I didn't. I used to park in the garage over here and get in my car and drive to my house. What are we doing for dinner? What are we doing? Like, you know, you're coming home to a family. And now I'm not. Now I'm coming home to my apartment. And just remembering, I guess, that it was nice to come home to a family. You get divorced, right? You don't have that anymore. And I think there's something about commuting back and forth that is like a reminder of that. Like, I don't want to say good or bad. Like, not great, probably. And I've been thinking more about like what kind of content I want to post here. I think I'm going to do like a whole thing about my divorce and my decision to end it and the lead up to that and the telling and the announcing and the family and friends and dismantling a life and finding a new place to live and all that fun stuff. So I may want to talk about that. I don't know if I'm ready to do it yet, but I was thinking that may have been helpful for me to watch as I was going through those things. So I don't know, stay tuned. But for now, I am working through this new experience of getting off a train, walking to my building, and not getting into my car and going to my house.
This woman made a decision to leave her own family with no good reason because she always let her emotion dictate her actions. Now, because she misses all the good times she used to have with her family, she realizes that she might have made a mistake by leaving. I personally just believe that this woman is just too selfish to even think about how she is hurting the people around her by acting however she wants when she feels like it. And this next clip will clearly show how she admitted that her ex-husband is a good man, but she didn't even care leaving him for no good reason. Check it out.
It's week 3 of commuting into Manhattan and commuting as a single woman in her 50s after being married for 20-something years. A lot of people are asking, like, but why? But why? But why? Like, why'd you end your marriage? Why'd you leave it? What was your decision? Etc. I had a journal or like a diary that I had been keeping where I was talking about all of my feelings and stuff. But when I moved out, I threw it out because it just made me too sad. But I did find some notes. And the notes are from a conversation I had with somebody around how I was feeling and what I should do and all of my fears about ending my marriage and being alone and moving out and all the things that we worry about when we end a long-term relationship. This was when I was living in my house, right, with my ex-husband. And I want to he's not a bad guy at all. At all. He was not the guy for me anymore after 24 years. Could be a great person and not be my husband anymore. Both things can be true. Back to the notes. I was explaining to her, I am terrified to leave, of being alone, being on my own, being lonely, all of those things, right? Starting over. And she said to me, do you know that feeling when you have the house to yourself? Or like you come home and nobody's home and it's just like you have everything to yourself and you're peaceful and then he comes home. And if you know, you know. And I told her, it feels bad because I never know what mood he's going to be in. He was often in a mood. And I know we don't know each other that well yet, but I'm very rarely in a mood. I'm a positive, upbeat, generally joyous human being. That's not his disposition. The crazy part is I think he would understand if I said this to him now. She said to me, imagine coming home at the end of the day, changing out of your work clothes into something comfortable, fixing something to eat, sitting down to watch TV. Nobody's going to come through the door and take your mood from there to there. And you're not like bracing yourself for someone else's mood. So if you're in that kind of situation, that's why I say, like, if you know, you know, because I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling. And if you are feeling those things, I wish you like all the love and luck in the world. And it doesn't mean you have to do anything now. Like, this took me years. Take your time. Try to connect with your inner guidance system. And I guess you'll know. But just know that you're not alone.
All we heard about the reasons of destroying her own marriage was based on how she felt at the moment. All we heard was me, 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 me. Modern women will never cease to amaze me. She admitted that her ex-husband is a good man, but still left him for no good reasons just because she thought that she was better than him. And now she is complaining about missing coming back home to her family. Now, for those who still want to get married, make sure you vet these women properly. And know that even after vetting these modern women properly, nothing is guaranteed because the government incentivizes these women to divorce. So, all I can say is always try to protect yourself at all times. And above all, don't forget to keep your head up, focus on your goals, and everything else will follow. I love you and I appreciate you for all your support. Please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and share to help push this content to more men in need. I'm out. Peace.